What do you think of the inconsistency there? Or should I let me give you my Stephen A. Dave. The hypocrisy, Dave.
Can you shift to Stephen A. for the rest of this segment, please?
What up, everybody? It's Youngmisuk here with Dave McMenamin. Dave, let's get right into this. We are not that deep into the playoffs, and already we've seen a lot of playoff intensity. I like this, Dave. I feel like there's a lot of parity going on, and you're seeing it kind of play out. And I would say also a lot of, let's call it, quote unquote, passionate play, Dave. Let's start in Northern California, where the Kings and Warriors are getting into it, Dave. We saw Draymond Green, my guy from Michigan State, quote unquote, defending himself against Domantas Sabonis, gets tossed from game 2 and hit with a 1-game suspension. What was your take, Dave, when you saw Draymond kind of, hovering above Sabonis and there was a little grab there? You've certainly been there firsthand to see Draymond on the floor getting into it with LeBron James in the finals. What was your take on this one?
I really didn't like it. I couldn't stand the rules, the league's justification of the ruling going back to previous actions by Draymond Green, because you have a progressive system in place where if you get X amount of flagrant foul points throughout the course of a postseason, it triggers a suspension. So that is what you have for everyone to understand and go by in order to anticipate a suspension. He was thrown out of the game with 7 minutes to go in a crucial road playoff game in game 2. The Warriors lost the game. The punishment was served. And to me, there's no way the stomp happens without the grab. And so you had to take into account the instigator, in this case, Domantas Sabonis. And then also, on a side note, I don't think, the X-ray machine industry, they should be insulted by the NBA by the fact that Domantas Sabonis would waste an X-ray machine's time to check out his chest after he was lightly stepped on by the bottom of a rubber sole. And Draymond Green, in turn, also gets his ankle X-rayed in order to say, well, maybe I was hurt here too. That's just garbage. We don't need it. The games have been that good. I'd rather be talking about the games than all this sidelight circus stuff.
I gotta land my foot somewhere. And I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
Credit to Steph Curry, the great Steph Curry, for his wonderful performance in Game 3 to keep the series going.
Domantas Sabonis has got a second job. He should be in pro wrestling. The way he reacted when Draymond stepped off of him was as if he had internal hemorrhaging right then and there. To come out and say that Draymond's history played into this, okay, that's just ridiculous, okay? The number 2 thing, I think it did not help Draymond Green to stand in front of the fans, egg them on, and guess what? Commissioner Adam Silver is right across the court to witness it all. I'm sure that played a part into it.
I guess ankle grabbing is okay.
Game 3, between the Sixers and Nets, Joel Embiid throws a boot up at Nick Claxton, reminiscent a little bit of Draymond Green, LeBron James, like we had talked earlier, and only gets a flagrant 1. What do you think of the inconsistency there? Or should I, let me give you my Stephen A. Dave. The hypocrisy, Dave.
That's hypocritical.
Of Joel Embiid not getting thrown out after clearly, intentionally kicking Nick Claxton in the groin.
Can you shift to Stephen A. for the rest of this segment, please?
The hypocrisy, Dave.
I just shrugged my shoulders. Are we really doing this just on the heels of the decision that kind of shook the NBA fan base to its core, the fact that they would do this with Draymond Green? So everybody's on high alert when it comes to these type of altercations over the course of a game. And then the very next chance in a high-profile situation, it comes up and you're not consistent.
I don't think I've ever seen that in my career before, Alex. For a guy to intentionally kick someone in an area that none of us want to be kicked at or towards, and for him to continue to play.
I didn't want Draymond thrown out of that game in Game 2. I didn't want Joel Embiid thrown out of Game 3 either. But once you set the standard, and I understand it's not the same referee officiating crew, but there should be a common denominator in terms of interpretation of the rules. And so of course, that happens with Nick Claxton. Claxton ends up getting kicked out later in the game. By the way, I don't know if you caught this in the game broadcast, as Claxton's making his way through the tunnel, he picks up the kind of divider that holds the velvet rope, like that metal stanchion, as if he's going to do something. Then the camera cut. I want to see what happened. Did he throw it? Did he think better of it and put it back down?
Later on in the game, James Harden throws a little elbow to try to get some separation from Royce O'Neal and gets a flagrant 2 and is ejected for, I guess it looked like maybe a little low elbow, elbow shift, whatever you might want to call it. Reggie Miller called it like a makeup call. Dave, what did you make of that?
To me, in a sense, they are valuing the below the belt area of Royce O'Neal more so than the below the belt area of Nick Claxton. What's the difference? The reaction? I mean, just because you act like you got, shot on one case, it's the same area that has been struck in a non-basketball motion. So you got to figure things out here.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Basketball gods might have stepped in there, because if he was indeed acting, Royce O'Neal, or selling the contact, I should say, we saw what happened when the Nets were down 3 with the inbounds pass. Royce O'Neal threw it away, threw the game away. So, these things, there's some karmic elements to the NBA game.
I gotta definitely, I feel for Jacques Vaughn there, because not only did he have his hands full with the Sixers, but then to see Joel Embiid kind of get away with what he did, I can understand Jacques Vaughn's frustration. Now on to the series.
Get away? So you wanted him out?
Joel Embiid?
Are you showing hypocrisy by saying you wanted him out? Because if you didn't want Draymond out, then you got to keep Joel in.
Okay, I would say Draymond. No. I'm saying Draymond Green should not have been suspended.
Okay, you're okay with the ejection.
I'm ejected. Okay. I understand that absolutely.
I gotcha.
Okay, and then I think he did, as you said, serve the punishment. To hand him another 1-game suspension over that, no way. Let's go to the series that you're covering, Dave. Lakers Grizzlies, where our guy Dillon Brooks just kept antagonizing LeBron James throughout Game 2. Failing to respect his elders. Is it wise of Dillon Brooks to just keep poking the bear?
My thing is, if you're going to do it, there's no turning back. And so he needs to continue to be full heel in this series. Continue.
Which we know he's going to do.
But any shot you make, get into his face. Game 3, Crypto.com Arena, Saturday night, Los Angeles. I want to see Dillon Brooks walk into the arena wearing a Nick Anderson jersey. Because who's the last time we saw basically a role player, a high-level role player, suggest that one of the greatest of all time didn't look like himself in a playoff series? Well, that was when Jordan was wearing the 4-5.
I thought you were going to want to say you wanted to see Shannon Sharp walking into Crypto.com
well, I hope he's
with his cardigan, okay?
This is not affecting the outcome of the series. When we were talking about the stuff in the Sixers-Nets series, when we're talking about certainly Warriors-Kings, those decisions could change the complexion of who moves on, which means that could affect who the NBA champion of 2023 is.
I was going to say, with John Morant looking like a game-time decision for Game 3, do you think the Grizzlies need to kind of keep instigating to kind of stay in this and be successful in LA?
I would say this. I don't think they need it, because I don't think it's going to benefit them in terms of how LeBron plays or how the Lakers play. But if it helps Dillon Brooks, get up for it, and if his teammates mess with him like that, and they're like, oh yeah, man, like that gets them hyped, gets them going, continue it. Because this is not crossing a line. This is classic trash talk. Now, is it in great taste? I wouldn't think so. I don't think those words are going to age too well. Speaking of age, when you're calling LeBron James, who averaged 28.5 points per game in year 20, an old guy who's lost a step, who just dropped 28 in Game 2, by the way.
I don't care. He's old.
I don't know if that's going to age too well.
Yeah, you know me, Dave. I want the animosity. I want the drama. I want the trolling. I want it all. I want like full Raja Bell on Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
That's what I want from Dillon Brooks. Thanks, Dave. One thing is for sure, we know these playoffs are going to be interesting and fun to watch.
We got bigger fish to fry.